It's been 10 months since my last video, but I wasn't gone. I was building my dream YouTube studio. So why did I build this studio? Well, the main issue was health and space. Let me get into it. In 2024, I had my second child. And with my first one being around 2 years old around that time, I was really worried that she would go into my printing room, painting room, and play with the resin without me knowing. Because for those who don't know, resin is messy, it's toxic to the touch when it's not cured, so I really didn't want to risk any accidents happening. Not only that, while I was painting, I usually had my machines printing something in the background. And where I was in the previous house, I didn't have good ventilation. Yes, I had a window and that was pretty much it. And because I was filming everything, I didn't want a grow tent to be surrounding the printers because I wanted to have some nice shots of the printers while printing. And with a tent in the way, it just didn't look nice in my view. So I always had a mask on whenever I went into that room. And I always had a fan just installed on the window running. But I didn't feel that was adequate enough. Because having the second child, and since my family was growing, me and my wife would decide to move to a new place. We wanted something a little bit larger, I wanted a dedicated space, preferably outside the house, and luckily enough, this is what I found. We bought a new place with a pretty big backyard, and at that time, this house was still being constructed, so I spoke with the contractor and they agreed to help me build a studio like this in my backyard, which was amazing. Having a dedicated space like this for me to paint and also have a room in the back, I'll show you guys later. That's the printing room. That's a dedicated spot just for printers. So yeah, I've been really happy with the studio, but it's still a work in progress. As you can see, like I still have my paints just over there. Nothing is really properly set up. I just came into the studio and there has been many delays. So that's why it took a whole 10 months to finally be able to finish the house and the studio. So now, why don't I show you guys what's been completed and what's to come. So, as you guys can see, this is the entrance of the studio. You can see that like my backyard hasn't been finished yet, but this is still usable. And as we get into the studio, this is the spot that you guys saw me just now recording. So you guys can see my temporary lights, my monitors, computer. Like over there, I'm trying to set up my paint station. In the back, there's a door over there. That's gonna be the print farm that I'll be showing you guys very soon. And here, this is actually a board game table. I played a lot of board games. I recently got into the One Piece TCG, and I've been loving that. This board game table is actually the Wormwood board game table. So what's so special about this table is that if you can see here, the top can be lifted up and there's a vault inside. So that's gonna be good if you wanna play some board games or some card games with your friends, and then I can just put these section leaves on top and I can do some unboxings here, some reviews that's gonna come. I actually have a lot of stuff to review, as you will see very soon. I want to do a little bit more of that in the channel. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. So yeah, this is gonna be the unboxing, the review section, the painting section. And while we're talking about the Wormwood table, I actually have another table that if you guys ever seen my previous videos, FlexiSpot actually hooked me up with one of their standing desks, and that will be perfect for this studio because I'll be editing here a lot and I actually really enjoy working while standing. Unfortunately, I the table isn't big enough for the painting area, so it will be used for the editing area. Right now, I'm not sure if I want to put it there, next to the painting station or not, or like in this little corner here. So we'll see, but why not? Let's set it up and show you guys why I love this table so much. The Flexi Spot E6 Max standing desk came in really well packaged. All the parts felt high quality, the instructions were easy to follow, and I was able to build this table by myself in about an hour. Once the table was assembled, you just need to hook up all the cables for the motor, and it also comes with accessories for cable management. The motors were silent and felt very strong. It even took on my full weight without any issues at all. Overall, I really recommend the FlexiSpot standing desk, and their prices is very reasonable for the quality that you receive. Now that I have my editing station done, let me show you the other side of the room, which is this print farm right here. As you can see, it's still a work in progress. I don't even have a handle yet. But once we go in, we have a nice little spot for 3D printing. Now, what's good about this room, it's controlled temperature. So with resin printing, you know that we want a warm temperature, and because I'm in Canada, it gets very cold here in winter. So even though this studio is properly isolated, it will still be way too cold to properly 3D print. So that's why I have this unit installed. And not only that, venting. So this room will mainly be FDM printing and resin printing. And because of the resin fumes, I had this installed so that this whole room would be properly vented. The fan will be on probably 24/7 as to keep the air here as clean as possible. Not only that, probably in the future, I'll also have a air purifier just to be extra cautious. And over on this side of the room, you can see all the 3D printers waiting for me to review or give my first impressions on. I don't know if I should do reviews or not. As I said, I'm not a professional 3D printer. I really just do this as a hobby, but I might have more experience more than the average person because they kept sending me printers. So we have the Uniformation GK3 Ultra, the Halot X1, the Anycubic Model M7 Max, the AD5X, and we have an amazing laser, the F1 Ultra. Looking forward to playing around with that. And that's it. Hopefully I can have this print room set up so I can start 3D printing and painting as soon as I can. And that's it for this room. So now that I have this space kind of set up, what's next? Well, first we have to finish the painting station. That's the bread and butter of the channel. I'm gonna have a spray booth installed, hopefully properly hooked up to the window, my airbrush, compressor. I also bought some stuff to make a photo booth so that once the figures are properly painted and everything, I can have a proper photo booth station to take glamour shots of them. And also another thing that I would like to do is to hang some pipes on the ceiling so I can mount my cameras, my lights, my gears all on the ceiling, because I have a good space here, but I'm doing a lot of things, so I don't want the tripods to be like around the floor on my feet. Just the other day, I actually tripped over one of the tripods filming this video. So I really want to have everything on the ceiling. So that's next. And yeah, that's it for this video. Let me know, what do you guys think? What do you guys want to see on this channel? Because now that I have this dedicated space, I really can focus more. Maybe if you guys want to see reviews, we can do reviews here on this table. I have the space. I can have cameras mounted on top down shot for the review, unboxing. If you guys don't want reviews, let me know. Then I'll just focus on the 3D printing and painting side of things. So for the next video, I'll continue finalizing everything inside the studio. Maybe I'll film another work in progress. Let me know again in the comments if you guys want to see that. If not, once everything is finished, the paint station, the 3D printers, once everything is done, I'll do a final studio tour, because I know you guys want to see that. I've had a lot of messages asking for my setup in my previous place. Honestly, that I wouldn't suggest how I set up everything, because as I said, the health issues with the printers there, it's not ideal. So now that I have a dedicated space, I'll show you how this time I properly set up everything. So yeah, thanks, cheers.